Hello, hello. How are we doing today?
Every course of action has its
Alright,
risks.
I haven't been on in just
Be
a little
careful.
while. I've been pretty busy, college starting and work and exercise and all these other things. So I will be getting to it more, but for now, this is what we've got. Probably going to do a little bit of questing for a couple hours. We're going to do some of the main storyline quests for some
It's
of the
been a
characters.
while since we first set foot on Inazuma.
And to start,
So many things have
we are
happened
going to
since
do
then.
tired.
Yeah, we've
The
definitely
Kazuha
made some
story
progress
quest.
on our journey. So, where should we go today? Huh? What's up?
Huh?
Hey, what the heck was that for?
Oh, hello there.
Doesn't want to talk, huh? Alright, let's convince him to calm down a little.
Let's. How about ah? Did I get him?
Huh? So you don't have a vision after all? Seems like I've mistaken you for someone else.
At the
What?
very least, you should make sure you've got the right person before you go attacking them. No, wait.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attacking them out of the blue. It's dangerous.
Have you ever
Exactly.
met someone by the name of Kaedehara Kazuha?
No.
He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animo vision. That's none of your business.
This story quest is from back during the Vision Hunt Decree days, and I'm very late on doing it.
Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
Mm-hmm. Asshole. Mm-hmm.
What the heck is this guy's problem? Coming around here, waving that weird sword in our faces. And he did well, one thing's for sure. No way are we
Quite
telling
the
him
asshole, huh?
anything about Kazuha. Right? Paimon has a feeling, though, that even if this guy gets to challenge Kazuha to a duel, he won't be able to beat him.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Anyway, just to be on the safe side, we should go fight Kazuha right away and tell him to watch his back.
We should do exactly that,
Oh?
yes.
What kind of hunch?
Mm-hmm.
A special connection? You mean beyond already knowing each other? Yeah, maybe a little. But then
Well, hello
again,
there.
most
How you doing
people
today?
look pretty much the same once they start fighting, so that doesn't really prove anything. Anyway,
Right
there's
now,
no
I
time
am
to lose.
doing
Let's go
the
tell Kazuha so we
Kaedehara
won't get into any
Kazuha
danger.
story quest. I'm very behind on
Paimon
the
heard
events
that
of
the
things, so this
fleet
is
is
still back
stacking up
during
in
the
Rito at the moment. Let's look
Vision
for him
Hunt
there.
Decree days, although I am up to date with everything else. I'm doing pretty good. I'm too busy, so I don't get enough time to play Genshin, I would love to just be able to play all day, every day, but as things would happen in my life right now, that's just not how it is. I would like to, though, get up to date with everything before Sumeru opens up. That is the plan right now. Because I would like to just be able to start exploring and doing quests and seeing the beautiful scenery of Sumeru instead of having to stay behind and kind of catch up.
Hey! Hello? Do you know where Kazuha is?
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Because he must have done something impressive after all. Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run.
I just don't
only
have
this
enough time,
As soon as we entered the harbor, we ran into
How
a
it goes.
huge crowd of Inazumans, all of them wanting to know about Kazuha. If it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention. Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain, but she just laughs it off.
Oh, so you still don't know what he did.
I've heard bits and pieces. Something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi.
Yep.
Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be?
Kind of.
Really? Wow. When you put it like
I mean,
that,
Kazuha's
it
a
all makes
monster.
sense.
If we're gonna be entirely honest, he's a
In that case, his
monster.
newfound stardom
And
is well
not only
deserved.
does he have his animal vision, but he activated the electro vision too.
He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryo Commission. They said they had something important to discuss with him. I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems like they really respect the guy.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable.
Yep.
Thank you. Guess we'll go pay a visit to the Tenryo Commission.
All right then. I'll just stay here and
Always a
carry on
pleasure.
trying to fend off the
Love
crowd.
to see you, man. All right. Let's go here. Over to the Tenryo Commission. Let's see what's going on. Hope Kazuha's okay. Although it's not like we didn't just see him recently in the Golden Apple Archipelago. And in we go. Hey, how you doing, man? How's the engagement going?
It's you.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt decree. Since you're here, you're very welcome to listen in on the conversation.
Sounds good. What's going
We
on?
invited Mr. Kaedehara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the Shogunate.
Okay. Cool.
Your
Good for
hard
him.
work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistakes, and for that, I'm deeply grateful. The Almighty
Okay.
Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least easing, the tensions that have built up over the years. The
Okay.
Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaedehara name. Regarding the history of the Kaedehara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed? In short, there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the Shogun directly, responsible for
I don't
upholding
think
and
Kaedehara
further
would ever want to
developing the
restore
traditional
the
blade
honor of
forging
his
arts
clan.
of the
He's more of
Almighty
a
Shogun.
free-spirited person
The
who would
Kaedehara
rather
clan
wander
belonged to this
and
class.
explore to himself.
But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a period of great turmoil. We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui. Attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato and Kaedehara clans was neither proper nor just.
Absolutely. That's how it is.
Considering Mr. Kaedehara
It's
has
a gross
once more made
oversight
an
on everyone's
outstanding
part, and
contribution to
honestly, the
Inazuma,
Fatui,
the Almighty
too
Shogun
secretive.
believes
They
he should
do-
not
they
only
do a
be
good job.
rewarded for his
They
achievements,
do a great job at
but
what they
also
do,
receive
even if it's
recompense for the
evil.
excessive punishment borne by his clan in the past. In the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui, we chose not to publicly release the findings of our investigations into these matters. We
Okay,
trust you
cool.
can understand why this was necessary.
Absolutely.
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive the goodwill of the Almighty Shogun and the Shogunate at large.
He's so pretty. He's so pretty.
However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come without some strings attached?
Well,
I
that's
can
how it
assure
is.
you that nothing could be further from the truth. We seek only to correct a past injustice. With the Kaedehara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaedeharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end.
Finally come to an end? Why would he want them to end? He's having a good time.
You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City with the Almighty Shogun's blessing and full support of the Shogunate.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer feel at home behind the tall walls of a stately abode. Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaedehara, and the art of blade making for which it stood.
It is a great art. I'm not very good
I
at it.
do have a
I sense some
I don't have
hesitation in your
the
words.
technique. I don't have the patience for it.
Should you accept
I
this
get ahead
offer,
of
I
myself.
imagine many of the malicious rumors currently circulating through the populace will disappear.
Malicious rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered whether there was another Kaedehara Kazuha in town.
Yeah, that's a rude, Paimon. That's very rude. There's only one
Well,
great
to
and
some,
magnanimous
the Musono
Kaedehara
Hitotachi
Kazuha.
is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaedehara really parried the Shogun's strike. Also, eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a result, the falsehood that Kaedehara Kazuha was using a delusion began to spread.
What? But that doesn't make sense. Using a delusion turns you old and frail, and
Exactly.
Kazuha still looks fine.
That is correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable notion still.
Well, in a lot of cases, it wouldn't be too far off. To a normal person, they wouldn't know too much about visions and what goes on with them
This
and
is
whatnot.
just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of public discussion, no matter whether it brings suspicion or stardom my way. But perhaps if the
You
shogunate
should
is
care
willing to
about what other
publicly
people think of
support
them,
me,
honestly.
this situation
Your own
will blow
opinion is the
over
only
more
one that really
quickly.
matters. That's how I try to take it, at least.
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought. It's
Please allow me some time to consider. In fact, let us put this
Okay.
discussion on hold for the moment. Well then, what brings the two of you here?
Yikes! We nearly forgot about the most important thing!
Why
Yep.
would such a dangerous individual be looking for me? No, this puzzles me as much as it does you. My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing.
Okay.
We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so that each can be fairly assessed for quality. Over time,
Okay.
these techniques came to form something of a Kaedehara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat forms. Those forms are quite
That's
different
cool.
from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to imagine that the similarity you speak of was coincidence alone.
All the more reason to watch your back! This guy was a serious...
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds highly aggressive. Anyone he targets is at risk of serious injury, or worse.
In that case, I will send some men out immediately to search for him.
That would be a good
Thank you.
idea.
I must say I am now very curious about this matter, and I will first join the traveler in investigating the one who attacked him, then give you a conclusive answer upon my return.
Very well.
Mm-hmm.
Please stay safe.
Okay.
Come on,
I'll try
let's
my best.
go and track down your
Although
aggressor.
usually I end up getting hurt with whatever I do, so we'll see what happens.
The detective agency knows the...
Let's get out there. Let's do this. Let's get this going. The show on the road. Sorry.
Let's see what Ryuji has to say.
Alright. Standing outside as always. What up, Ryuji? How you doing, man?
Hey there!
Long time no see.
I'd like to ask you a quick question. Do you know if anyone around here has been looking for him? For Kaedehara Kazuha, we mean.
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaedehara. I've heard a lot about you. It is an honor to finally meet you today.
You are too kind.
Mm-hmm.
We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate any help you can offer.
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Let me think.
Me.
I can't seem to recall anything of immediate interest. Mr. Kaedehara
There
is
you go.
currently the talk of the town, so there are always a lot of people looking for him.
Well, he was a shogunate samurai who was looking to target him because of his vision.
To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people wishing to obtain Mr. Kaedehara's personal information.
Really?
Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate commissions, Sango would have snapped them up in an instant.
Millions? Of Mora?
Well, I mean,
Whoa!
Paimon, me and you are millionaires
Wait,
ourselves.
Even at that
I have
price,
like 42
you
million
probably
mora
still
just sitting in the
shouldn't.
bank.
Please, accept my thanks for looking out for my privacy.
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our money by revealing details of other people's day-to-day life just for the sake of it.
Good.
Sorry, I got a little off topic. What I'm really trying to say is, it doesn't surprise me that a complete stranger is looking for Mr. Kaedehara.
At this point, it shouldn't surprise anyone.
But I
really.
wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this with an assault.
Then let's put that connection aside for
Quite
now.
perplexing.
Have there been any other attacks or similar incidents recently that stand out as particularly unusual? The Tenryou Commission had very few leads, and I thought you might have some information from different sources.
It's true
That
that the
would be a good
commissioners aren't
idea.
clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But typically, it's only the most trivial events that manage to escape their attention. If anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault, in which case the Tenryou Commission would absolutely get involved.
It's a fair statement.
Uh-oh. Looks like the trail's...
I still find it difficult to believe that whoever attacked you hasn't been causing any trouble elsewhere.
Why don't we go back to the scene where
Few
he
people
attacked
possess
us?
your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first person he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt by now. I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. In fact, I'm quite relieved that you were the one he targeted.
You're glad that I got attacked? How could you?
It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or lose their life because of me. For the poor victim, this would be a completely senseless crime.
Don't worry, we'll find him.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaedehara. Surely this same concern for your fellow man is what drove you to fearlessly raise your blade against the almighty Shogun.
You flatter
Something like
me.
that.
Truth be told, I don't know quite what came over me in that moment.
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely understand your concerns. I will try my best to gather whatever leads I can for you.
Thank you very much,
Oh.
sir.
Actually, there
couldn't
was
hope
one
for anything
strange
more.
incident over the last few days. It doesn't involve an attack. Let me tell you about it just in case.
Sure.
Okay.
During times like
Any
this, the more
information might help.
information we have, the better.
All right then. Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma clan.
That might be it.
Amanoma. Now there's a familiar name.
Right. Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo, the owner of Amenoma Smithy.
Exactly.
2 grown men going missing at the same time. Their cases are likely connected, but I recalled this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished martial artist who is skilled with the blade. Perhaps he is the one you are looking for.
Understood. Though it seems highly unlikely to me. I neither know this man, nor do I have any idea why he may wish to attack me.
That would make sense.
Can't hurt. We never know
Let's get them
what
both
we might
done.
find
Let's
out
knock them
along
out.
the
Let's
way.
help the people.
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by making some inquiries at the Amenoma Smithy.
Sounds good. All the best with your investigation. I'll get moving shortly myself.
To the smithy. Hello. How you doing today?
Ah,
What's up?
if it isn't Kaedehara Kazuha. What brings you here today?
Not much.
You two know each other?
Yes, the Kaedehara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden. Historically, there have always been deep links between the 2 clans. After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Amenoma to pay my respects. Yes,
Alright.
you may recall the story of the Raiden Gokaden from the Iridori Festival.
I do.
Though all bladesmiths trace their craft back to the same source, over
Really?
time, Each of us has arrived at a different blade-making philosophy, spawning the development of different branches of the same
Although that's
art.
to be fair, considering everyone around the world makes blades just a little bit differently, makes them different shapes, different sizes, different weights, different lengths, different thickness. They even have different methods for honing the metals. It's quite the interesting thing.
As an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the
Everyone
abiding
has it, but they do it
patience
slightly
and
differently.
determination of water as it turns stone to sand. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out, until both body and mind have memorized the craft, turning each motion of every technique into an intrinsic part of the bladesmith's life.
I hate his hair. I'm sorry, it's just so fugly. It's so fugly. Look at his hair. It's so ugly. Oh my goodness. Why? What's...
As for the art of the Kaedehara clan, I believe it's called the Ishin art.
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind from the moment that forging begins.
Exactly.
For
Okay.
only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become an extension of its wielder's will.
Indeed.
Okay.
Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see
Okay.
that although the Kaedehara clan has fallen on hard times, its ideals and virtues are alive and well.
You overestimate me.
Okay.
My actions are guided by my own personal sentiments, not by any noble aspirations on behalf of my clan. But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information on your missing nephew. We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out that this case is connected to another we are pursuing.
Ah, yes. My nephew. I reported the case to the Tenryo Commission, but I haven't heard anything back so far.
It's interesting.
He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. I'm
It
still
probably has something to do
completely
with
at a
that weird
loss
blade he was
on what to
holding.
make of it.
Perhaps it caused him to lose his mind and just simply leave.
But I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile. All I can do now is wait for the news from the Tenryo Commission.
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance too. Know anything?
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic... I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato. Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have caused it. Unfortunately, there was very little evidence left behind, so nobody knows what really happened.
How strange.
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya may have wanted to give you?
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon. Otherwise,
Exactly.
there would have
What
been
was
no
that
reason
weapon,
for him to
probably?
get my hopes up. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing, and can sense even the most minute differences in blade quality.
Really?
He is extraordinarily talented in martial arts, particularly when it comes to the art of the sword.
Truth be told,
Alright.
we have some information that you may find to be objectionable. The person we are looking for, he attacked this friend of mine. Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems to match the suspect's profile.
Fortunately so.
What? No. Absolutely impossible. Yuya is not that kind of person. He is humble and kind. Even his training is done with the goal of calming his mind. He has never gotten into a fight before.
Is that so?
Yes. If there's one thing I can say for certain, it's that. But, with that said, it's equally out of character for him to just disappear with neither farewell. I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of. Anyway,
This is too much dialogue.
should you find him,
Don't
Speed
worry.
it up.
You have our word.
Yep, we'll take care of it. Don't
From
worry.
the
Yeah,
sound of
we
that,
got this. Yeah,
Paimon
totally.
doesn't think Yuya was the.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the two men met. Let's pay a visit to the Nagato household.
I can already guess what happened. Okay, the blade is probably an Ishin blade that chose the cousin, nephew guy, whatever, and that's Ishin blade made him kind of go a little wonky. And so he attacked Mr. Nagato, burned the place down, or something of that sort, and now is kind of like going around on the hunt or something.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now. My husband has gone missing, and I'm still trying to find him.
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to ask you some questions about Mr. Nagato's disappearance, if we may.
Ah, I see. I thought the debt collectors had come to visit again. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information come out? Do you know where he's gone?
We have no clue. We're trying to
I'm
figure that out.
afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. We're
I
still
wouldn't be
trying to
asking you
find
if
out
I
as
knew.
much as we can to inform our search. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about your family's current situation?
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand.
That's a long story. He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me.
Well,
I knew
everyone's
nothing
got their
about the
lives and
items
their
myself,
hobbies, you
but
know?
seeing how
Something
enthusiastic
they're
and
extremely
excited they made
passionate
him,
about.
I was happy everything was fine when we first got married. But as time went by, things changed for the worse.
Uh-oh, what happened?
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just so he
Really?
could pay for them.
How unfortunate.
Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he'd spend hours. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there staring at them like he was in a trance. I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet, on the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectible...
Whoa!
And that led to an argument.
Okay.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. On most things, he leaves the decision-making to me.
Quite the good husband.
You
most
must
of the
understand,
time, then.
I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family?
Bankruptcy. Poverty. Inability to pay things back.
Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found our... And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he was simply angry with me. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. I understand. Ame no Yuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato, During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse, and both men disappeared.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument over the price. But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fierce argument.
Well, I mean, what if he tried to undersell the
Maybe he was
underbuy
feeling the pressure from the
piece
depths?
of equipment?
I don't know.
Offered something
He just
scrupulously
disappeared
low.
after the warehouse burned down. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off.
Perhaps.
Even though I'm still a little mad at him. We're a family, and I want us to face our family's crisis together.
Fair enough. That's how it should be.
As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation than meets the eye. If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit to change so drastically over a short... But the information we gathered from the other side suggests Amenoma Yuya is also a mild-mannered man who would not be likely to start an argument. This situation is getting a little confusing.
A little confusing? More like completely mystifying.
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can piece together what we've learned. Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find anything.
Thank you so much. I just want him to come home.
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance.
It had to be.
The fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation unfolded.
There's no other
Though its exact
connecting reason that
role
would
is a
give us
mystery.
to surmise there would be anything different.
Do you have any thoughts?
Not currently. I'm pretty much blank canvas at this point.
I was thinking that maybe someone accidentally knocked over an oil lamp and... Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
Okay.
That is the most likely conclusion based on everything we know. What started as a disagreement over the price escalated and ultimately turned into a tragedy. However, in this case, only one of the parties would have started the fire. That would make the other party innocent, and they would have no reason to hide themselves from the public. If this is indeed what happened, and the innocent man hasn't come forward yet, one fact that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Neither seems like the type of person who is inclined towards
As I've
initiating
probably
conflict.
guessed already, the fire was started by the Nagato boy who was
Mr. Nagato,
possessed
being
by the
heavily in
sword or
debt,
whatever.
is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem to link the two events. Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is...
Darn! We thought we could get two birds with one stone here, but at this rate, it's starting to look like a wild goose chase.
Let's keep going, since we've come this far. If we can solve the case, Both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato will be able to get some closure.
Okay,
Agreed.
but where should we go now?
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still a chance we may be able to find some
There probably
shreds
is
of
some
evidence.
Okay. To the warehouse. Let's get over there. See what's going on. See what actually happened.
Wait. I hear something ominous in the wind.
Okay.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants of the Tatarigami. Indeed. But this unexpected sprint, we should remain vigilant and approach slowly.
Okay.
Huh. So it's an underground warehouse.
The force is definitely coming from down below.
Strange.
The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place. But the residue it left behind, judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
Mrs.
sword.
Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time. From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters, but most will
Not
develop
all,
a stubborn
but
streak
most.
upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Their interests become fanatical obsessions. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder, amassing more and more possessions, even as he put himself in grave debt.
So what should we do now? Go down and take a look?
Obviously.
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside. If we don't open
think
this
it's a good
door, we
idea,
can move no
personally.
closer to the truth.
I think we need to honestly see what's going on.
You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than this. Relatively speaking, the risk here is trivial.
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't see it. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too
Quite
scary.
unfortunate.
Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out at us.
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy two ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much misfortune has already befallen them. Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital
go
that we
get it.
find out where
Let's
this
do this.
Tatarigami energy is coming from.
Let's figure this thing out.
Quiet
together.
your mind and
Just me and you.
focus on what you sense around you.
Okay. Yo. More black smoke. This. Oh, this. Okay, we're good. I thought I was about to
From
fall
this
into
point, the trail
the
appears
abyss.
to split into two. The main source
Oh,
of the
both of
Tatarigami
them,
energy
huh?
continued on
Okay.
into the distance, but a small... Quite possibly.
Should definitely
Let's search the area.
Take a look. See what we can do. See what we can find out.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls!
It's a lot of
They're
fire.
acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
Bye-bye. More. Okay. Bye-bye.
Ugh! Look at this.
By the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing. The ink is, well, let's...
Okay. Oh no. Is he dead? I hope Nagato isn't dead. That'd be very unfortunate.
According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade belonging to Mr. Nagato. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here to write this.
So,
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters, and I'm afraid he may
Is
no
there a
longer be
hospital
with
in
us.
Inazuma?
Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. Yes, right now we need to uncover some more important truths. If Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him, the more people risk meeting the same tragic end.
Yes.
so
We
let's
must
get
find
moving.
him.
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, fell prey to the influence of the Tatarigami. For a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame would be their pursuit of further power and skill. All the clues that at first seemed disparate and disconnected, it seems that now we know the thread that runs between them. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's disappearance.
Wait, you figured it out? So these two cases
Yes,
are
very
connected
obviously,
after all?
Paimon.
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger. He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here?
Interesting.
Is there anything special about this place?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sense that the aura may have lingered here. Show yourself! It's no...
Aha.
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
You ready to get your ass beat?
So it is the same guy from before. What's your problem,
About to get chin,
What
boy.
could you possibly have against Kazuha?
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Ame no Miyuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Ame no Miyuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you
That is
mention
most
it,
likely.
it is giving off a strange light.
Why would the blade have something against you,
Whoa,
though?
surely you don't mean...
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect it. The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind, and more recently using the or rather as a means to occupy Ame no Miyuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams.
Did he now?
As a descendant
It's a
of the
dope blade.
Kaedehara
It's got all
clan,
those eyes on it.
you
and
should
shit.
be able to
Damn.
guess our greatest regret.
Not getting
I
to
presume
be
it has
used?
something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom,
Damn, okay.
his skill. It culminated in his create. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own.
His mouth is not lining up with the
In her
words that he's saying.
conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement in the
Is it
art
the most
of
perfect
blade
blade ever?
forging.
I'm not so sure about that.
Sword?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one, but in all other respects an ordinary
Quite
weapon.
interesting.
After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma.
Oh, really?
Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home.
Quite the aggressive move there,
I
buddy.
seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might
Damn,
of
dude.
Ishin art.
Ah, so Ame no Miyuya was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission.
Huh.
When
Asshole.
they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awful.
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Ame no Miyuya handed himself over to me on a silver platter. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Ame no Miyuya's body, I have found you, and by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun.
Will you now?
Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come. Now, give your body over to me!
How about no? You ready to get your ass beat? My guy, you ready? Are you ready to get your ass beat? I bet you is.
Oh, it's revealed.
Where you going, buddy? Where you going?
Wind strike! Ah, that hurts!
Whoa. Oh, I died for a second. I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Orders given. Orders received.
Why don't you freeze on up? Okay, you don't need to be walking around like this. Where you going, my guy?
Falling leaves. Adorn my
Now you die. Bye-bye.
Purge!
Oh, 42,000.
Do not stand in my way, or I will strike you down too!
Well, you know.
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Mm-hmm. Loser.
Lost? I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more. Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will. The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger.
Well, you know.
And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure.
Quite the confidence. Damn. That unshaking, unwavering will.
And any medium available, I shall return and fulfill my destiny!
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art. But from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance, as well as a thinly veiled mania and despair.
Really? You can tell all that just from his moves?
And the smell in the wind.
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since the blade is currently possessing Aminome Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thoughts of the blade. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition. You believe I am your only hope.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without you? On
Yes.
his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner. Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. You were trapped.
Really?
After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's
Imagine
right.
how strong he must have been right
remember
after his
now.
creation.
Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Aminome Yuya and make your escape.
And what of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so strong. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to bear. Each step you have taken has come at a great cost. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew, and the more you wished to run from the truth. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from achieving my goal.
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life, even if you were to sever that divine light. Is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired?
You...
Sure, you inherited
Kazuha
the
has such a way
secrets
with
of Ishin
words.
art.
He's so smart.
But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding.
His talk no jutsu has reached its maximum
How could
level.
you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between a blade and its bearer?
Damn.
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve my goal. This was his
You're not
life's
going to.
dream and the very purpose for which I was brought into being. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also underestimate my resolve.
And you
Really now?
should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing.
It offers you a end to your torments, an end to this senseless perceiving of your will and wants and desires.
I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection. It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaedehara clan. If you wish to save this man, then offer me your body in exchange.
That's if you can actually take over my
How
mind.
stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state. So let us make a bet, and I will put your strength to the test.
What? Surely you're not planning to agree to his demands.
Very well.
Yes.
Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. A taste of my power will more than convince you. Once we have dealt with them, we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
And as for your end of the bargain,
Alright.
if you lose, you must release Amenoma Yuya from your control.
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
Yeah, let's do this. It's a great idea, actually.
This is the
Because
only
Kazuha
way
is a
to save
strong
Amenoma
mind. He's a
Yuya.
powerful person.
If we don't do, the Cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still not completely The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Amenoma Yuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar kinds of obsessions, I should be able to put up some resistance.
But
Even if
Yes.
things take a turn for the worse, we have a chance here to save an...
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because there are things I wish to learn now. Take...
Gladly. You are easy pickings, boy. Ta-da! Got this, bro. It's all you.
I'm okay. I felt a little dizzy at first, but it's all right. So far, this was as I will.
what should we do next? Have you got a plan, Kazuha?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built
Fair.
for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, if he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat situation.
Wait a minute.
Alright.
Paimon remembers hearing about something since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base. It's been...
Ah, all right.
This is great.
Please lead the
Killing two
way.
birds with one stone. Let's go do it.
What about Amenoma Yuya? What should we do with...
The blade says he'll let Amenoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness.
Are we sure this is a good idea? It's a pretty treacherous journey. Okay, fine. Just
Interesting.
be
Quite weird.
careful.
Well, whatever. Let's get doing it. Let's do it. Right. To this whole base. There we go. Let's get over there. It's quite the interesting story quest. Although it's not the most exciting of them, it's still quite an interesting thing. You get to look at the history and past of the Kazuha clan. You're right. Nope, it's this way. There we go. Into a domain, I'm guessing. spurs. Let's get in there. This will probably be the end of this quest, if I'm not mistaken. After we finish it up, I'll probably be getting off for the day. I'm quite tired, and I would like to get to bed a little bit early today.
Leave everything on this journey to me.
Okay.
Fine.
He is very strong, that is true. I'm not doing a whole lot of damage.
Finally, it's been a lucky day.
As one with wind and cloud.
Oh well.
How are you feeling?
I'm all right.
Mm-hmm.
The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use and maintenance, it's become very difficult
Really
to use. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he...
Something else on your...
How strange. Rather than, let's keep going.
Maybe he's slowly beginning to give up on his aspirations and starting to accept and maybe wish to follow along with another Kazuha.
Let's get down to business.
That hurts! Wind strike!
Let's get down to business.
Clouds high. The birds call! Fine.
Such a great character. So
Something's up
strong.
with the blade.
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. The blade is becoming more and more difficult for me to wield.
Really?
He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps persisting, he will likely break up.
But what would that do to
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give... He's still trying to achieve his goal.
Really now. Well, let's continue on. See what we can do about that.
Wind strike!
Die. Go down. Get out of here, bro.
It looked like you were really struggling the entire fight.
Yes. And it looks like he's reached his limit.
The sheen's
know.
grown a bit dimmer again. It doesn't look anywhere near as impressive as it did at the start.
Perhaps this time, we'll finally have a chance to see his true form.
True form? What are you... Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk.
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the Almighty. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has
Literally
left you
as far as
battered
possible
and broken.
away from here.
It barely needs
Ages and
stating
ages
anymore.
upon hundreds of years
Your
to
ambition
arrive at
is a
this
flight
point.
of fancy. I finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would still be able to wield commendable... But regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never understand your obstinacy and cruelty, nor can I empathize with the one
That's
who
fair.
made you. The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time you were born.
Huh? What's that supposed
There they are! Take them down!
Oh, well, hello there.
Why do they keep coming?
What's up,
Yep,
bitch?
yep. We
Don't worry, it's just more of the...
Oh, I don't get to keep my own. That sucks.
Wind Strider!
The fairy.
Time to go!
At least I heal.
Yes.
Wind Strider! Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
You fought way better with your own sword.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, no one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person to know the truth. I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for me.
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal blade does with you. Too much time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without proper maintenance, I can only disguise my true appearance behind an outer sheen. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is. Perhaps I shall never reach that level of glory.
Quite unfortunate for you.
This is just a generic blade that I picked up
Really?
during my travels in Liyue.
What?
Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are not everything. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during that time. Plus, in the moment that I most needed it, I received aid from another power. Skill, blade, determination, and desire. All these must be aligned in the practice of Ishin art.
Really?
There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania, and though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was constantly trying to seize control
Born
of
to
my body.
desire, but unable to achieve it due to the
I
contents
sensed
of his
it, but
birth.
I couldn't change it. It is an integral part of my consciousness.
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you yourself have any intention of trying to fight it. I feel a great sense of regret for you. Since you embarked on a journey bound for a destination you were destined never to reach. The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. And yet there was... You have known this for a long time. It is the truth.
He gave me everything. My life,
I don't really feel bad though. I mean, the amount of people that he killed on the trip to
purpose.
get here, just in order to reach this
How
unachievable
could I
goal.
possibly deny him his wish? I said to him, "Do not worry. From here on, I shall forge your legacy." How could I go back on my word?
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing further to say.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. Let's give him some time to reflect on things.
It's a good idea. Oh, alright then. Guess that's the end of this, isn't it?
When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight. His breaths were weak, and his life near its end. A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening to...
Wow. That was the Blade's memory, wasn't it?
Twas.
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. The Ishin art had been dealt a devastating blow by the desertion of its best smiths. He spent the rest of his life in the forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred, but to atone for it. He felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day return his single, proudest creation back to the land of his birth. So he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma, no matter how long or how hard the journey. But he never wished. All he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as blade and smith, that they were still worthy of being trusted.
So that's the true story. But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were warped by the Tatarigami, slowly
She's
turning
talking
his
so slow
proud
and
creation
accentuated.
into
It's a
the
bit
cursed
much.
blade of today.
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with was that of the Tatarigami. The hatred within that power is what sent the blade down its ill-fated path. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost its original master. No one was there to correct its errors when it was losing its way.
Shame it's too late now.
Yes. It is too late. Time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubbornly stuck at that fleeting moment at the dawn of his journey. He seems to have calmed down, though. Let's go and check in.
See how he's doing. See how he's reflecting. What's up?
When I look back at the past, I can remember the day of my forging like it was just
Really?
yesterday.
You remember your birth? That's crazy.
I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his wishes. Such was the debt I owed to him for giving me the gift of consciousness. But darkness and slaughter numb the mind. Over time, I lost sight of the difference between gratitude and grudge. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition, I also defiled it.
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
He's so good. He's so good at talking. It's such
Since we
an
agreed to the
astounding
terms
feat
of the bet,
that he
I will
accomplishes
honor
every
the
time he
agreement
speaks and opens
and
his mouth.
release Ame no Mayuya. But I still cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the ambitions?
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix, too?
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. And if you don't agree, I will still release Ame no Mayuya as promised.
Oh, well, that's great.
My physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should still be of some value to you.
His attitude has grown a lot milder.
Well, he
What do you
sees the
think,
things that are
Kazuha?
the truth instead of
Should
the
we give him a
lies that he's
chance?
been brought by.
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. He told me that he had wanted me to have the grandest opening battle.
Really?
Alas, after that, he never rose from his sickbed again.
It's quite unfortunate.
Nor have I ever had the chance. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next step. You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle and experience...
Oh? And who?
I will release Ame no Mayuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps after that, you can convince him to commit to a fight with you. He must
okay.
have plenty of reasons to both hate me and desire a good fight.
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up and seeing if he has the stamina.
I'd be surprised if he did.
I see. He used my body to inflict harm on others. I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me, he must still have some remaining semblance of honor. If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I am willing. I do not wish to be a mere victim in this story.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenryu Commission.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without your intervention?
All right, then let's move on.
Probably you charging into the Shogunate's estate.
More Ronin could appear at any moment. We
only
can't
to get
stay here.
slaughtered at the doors. Maybe hurting a few more innocent people
In
along
any case,
the way.
for a final duel, I
and
think we
then
should
broken
aim
sword.
for a greater sense of ceremony.
Okay. Get out of here. Mount this bee. Okay. 457 meters away. Yeah. Okay. Is it raining because of random rain, or is it raining because of this final battle that must be held? Be cool if it was. This is definitely the setting right here.
This reminds Paimon a bit of the Crux Clash. Yep, we still can't let our guard down. Even now, Paimon has a sneaking suspicion that Blade hasn't told us everything.
I think it.
Still, even if he's way past the point of redemption, it's hard not to feel a teensy bit sorry for him.
I don't. I don't feel sorry at all.
Are you ready?
Ready? Okay. Successor of Ishin art, Kaedehara Kazuha.
That's one way of
Successor
introducing
of
yourself.
Amenoma art, Amenome Yuya.
Honored to cross blades
He's
with
much
you.
more timid than I expected him to be.
It is my honor also.
And
Wind Strider.
that was quick. Stop running away. Get back here.
Time to go. Clouds high. The birds call.
Back in here. Come on now. Come on. Missed? Yeah. Alright.
Thank you for the experience. Although he appears battered and broken, in your hands it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance. His sense of savage cruelty has completely faded away. But that same sense of determination remains strong.
I know
You also
nothing,
fought well.
so-
I'm sure
Can
he
only hope.
relished the experience. There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness, nor do I have the right to forgive you on your victim's behalf. It is too late for all of that.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone and not let them stain the legacy of Ishin art. I strayed far from the straight and narrow path, but the Ishin art still has a worthy successor in Kaedehara Kazuha. I beseech you, please understand this.
Yes, I
Imagine
too
if, like,
trust
10
Mr.
seconds later he was like,
Kaedehara to
"Alright.
do the right thing.
Now that I'm in control of Kaedehara's body, it is time to fight the
Thank you,
Shogun." And just like
successor
start
of
going off
Amenoma
on about it.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to visit the Amenoma smithy. Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to go there for?
I'm not sure, but
Well, to the smithy. We'll see. Alright. Let's see what's up. I'm quite curious myself now, even though this dialogue has been this entire quest format.
Oh, it's Yuya! You have returned!
For now.
I'm sorry to have troubled you. It's all thanks to them that I was able...
A prized Ishin blade. Turned weapon that controls the human mind.
Yes.
Considering their forging philosophy, this was indeed within the realm of possibility. This is a great pity. But I have some good news as well. Ryuji from the Bonton Sango Detective Agency tells me that they've found the missing Mr. Nagato.
Really? Is he okay?
Yes, badly wounded, but he will live. And now that Yuya is back, it seems like the final ending to this story.
I think I know what you want to do.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whisper?
Yes. He said he wants to take control.
What? No way!
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. And he assures me I have decided to let him do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everything will be
I will explain my reason. Okay. I am ready. Let us begin.
Oh.
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness.
Is he passing on the knowledge of okay. Aha.
You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind.
What is your name, sir?
Kagotsurube Ishin.
Oh.
This name is now yours to keep.
That was so cool.
Rest in peace.
It's a great way to end off this whole questing.
So that's
That was
why
a
he
quick
said it had to be
reforge,
done in that
goodness.
order. His consciousness will disappear forever after fulfilling the bladesmith's wish.
Yes.
Kagotsurube Ishin. It was the first time I ever heard his name. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions, and thus chose to bury this name deep within his heart. Only in the final moments, before his consciousness faded, was he willing to entrust it to another.
Quite the interesting
Seems
decision.
like he really wanted to fulfill his maker's wish.
It was his only goal in
The
life.
same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going forward also fueled the stubborn determination that blinded him to the path ahead. Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes than see him punished for them.
I think
I understand.
the exact same thing. I think
Perhaps
that's how it
this
should
is a
always
flaw
be.
in my personality. I've always been captivated by grand aspirations. Hearing his wish to rival the divine light,
Although you are
touched something
captivated by
inside of
grand
me.
aspirations, you are also
Just
a
as the
moral
sight
person.
your
and so
quest to face the gods
you're able
and
to
trace your sibling
distinguish
inspires
moral
me in the same way.
grand aspirations versus
After everything I've
devilishly
seen,
devious
perhaps
conquests.
these pursuits fascinate me a little more than they should.
Oh, Kazuha?
I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance whenever you need it.
Thank you
Wait,
very much, sir.
shouldn't we also go update Kujo Kamaji?
Oh, you're right. We need to tell him about the findings of our investigation, and it's also time to give him a response to the offer he made me.
Tell him no. I think that's the only answer that you can possibly be able to give him, is just a simple no. No thank you, sir. Okay.
Faster? Okay, faster.
Oops. Perfect. Well, hello there. How you doing, sir?
You've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. Though this was a
Sure
treacherous
has.
investigation indeed,
You're back now.
we're most fortunate that no lives were lost. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amanome Yuya should conclude soon. I do not believe he will be charged with any crime.
Thank goodness.
Wow,
He doesn't
you
deserve
sure
to be
kept
charged
your
for
ear
any
to the
crimes.
ground.
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer. Please take a look at this blade.
Oh, fuck. No. What was that? A bug? Why? Oh my gosh. A bug just flew into my nose out of nowhere. Why? Why must you do this? Oh. It was a little one, so it didn't like fill my nostril, but it was big enough that like I could feel the entire thing. Oh,
What's
goodness.
this?
That was terrible.
Kagotsurube Ishin, a weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaedehara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass on the secrets of Ishin art. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see. I understand.
The Kaedehara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only proper for me to continue on this path. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between...
You misunderstand. That was most certainly not our intent.
I am aware, but I still desire to continue walking my own path.
Very well. I can understand. Then let's pretend this offer was never raised. However, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the Shogunate's assistance, please do not hesitate to inform me.
Great. Thank you for your generosity.
Where will you travel to next, Kazuha?
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again for now.
Sounds good.
As
When
for
I
my
head over
next
to Sumeru,
destination,
you should join me.
let's see where the wind takes me.
An Animo vision is the only thing that really suits you. Or could possibly suit you. Well, alright. There's that. Man, I'm getting very, very close to adventure level 57. Is anyone at all adventure level 60? Is that even a possibility? How much experience do you need to have to be able to actually reach adventure level 60? It's been so long since I've gone up in level. But, for now, that is what I have for all of you guys. I still have quite a lot of quests to do. The 7-star selection, that is the Yelan quest. And I plan on doing that tomorrow. If, hopefully, time permits. And so, this is all I have for you guys today. If anyone is actually watching this, I hope you enjoyed your time here, even though I am not the most entertaining person right now, out of tiredness and sadness. So, I hope that if you are there, you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will be signing off. So bye-bye now.